Hey YouTube, Jack Leeson with MajorLeagueTrading.com doing a trade review. I have a bunch of trades on here right now. I'm up $3,900 on the day. I'm not closed out of any of these, so of course anything could change. But right now I'm looking pretty good on most of these positions. They're primarily almost all of them, but like this one right here, the USD CAD which is like right about where the expiration would be. I sold these for 67 bucks, which would be my reward. I sold 20 of them. So my risk on these trades, I think my total risk was around 40, I don't remember actually. It's like around $4,000. Don't quote me. But I want to talk about each one of these trades and really why I took them. So first off, one of the things that's a really good advantage and one of the recommendations I want to give to you traders on YouTube, Forex Factory Economic Calendar. So the Forex Factory Economic Calendar is a calendar that I use to reference when big news events are coming out. Now, anytime you have a bunch of, I only pay attention to the Red Star news events. Of course, there's a ton of news events during any given day, so I only watch the red ones, which are the more important ones, the more significant ones. We had this morning at 7:30 something called CPI, and what CPI stands for is Consumer Price Index. Consumer Price Index is just a measurement of how expensive things are or are not in the United States economy. And what that was, there was a big beat here. So it'll tell you the forecast, which is 0.3, the actual is 0.5. So that means it's higher than expected. There's a 0.5% increase in the CPI, which would say that, okay, prices are moving up. Well, when prices are moving up, what does that mean? That actually means inflation. So some of the trades you have that have really exploded here today is all of the commodities. You have a big move in gold, a big move in copper, big move in silver, and then the US dollar is actually, when inflation goes up, the price of the US dollar goes down, and then currencies related to that. So CPI, just to, some of them are more significant than others. CPI is definitely one of the more significant events at any given time. So we have some huge moves today, and I was able to take advantage. Pretty much all of this stuff is correlated. I'm up $4,500 now in just 2 minutes. So $500, $600 now from the last time we talked. Wow, oil's ripping here. So let's talk about these trades that I took, and I'll talk about kind of how I use this to my advantage. Wow, this is cool. I don't normally have on this many trades. This is like 6 trades at once. I have 1 weekly contract here. Let's just go through the trades. So gold, I was looking for a breakout above highs. Expiration is today. That's 130. Silver, looking for a breakout above highs. Expiration is also today at 125. It is currently, that's just a few minutes away from actually, it is 1:22 Eastern, 12:20 here in Chicago. And then soybeans was a trade I took earlier this week. That is a weekly contract, and that's for the May. Then I was looking at the US 500, which is the S&P futures, and then the US Small Cap 2000 is the Russell, and then USD CAD is obviously a US dollar versus a Canadian dollar. So when the US dollar gets weaker, anything with the USD in front of it will get weaker as well. So I'd like to show you guys in my Nadex Master Course, which some of you guys might have taken before, but if you don't, I'll leave a link for anybody interested in joining my course where I go more in depth into some of these things. I have what's called my Nadex watch list. So all my Nadex watch list is I use a separate charting platform. And this is my Nadex watch list. So these are all the markets you can trade in Nadex. So anything today, pretty much with a USD at the beginning of it, is falling, and anything with the USD at the end of it is moving up. And the reason that is because the dollar is actually getting weaker. Okay, so with the dollar getting weaker, anytime you have a USD in front, those pairs will get weaker. So we got USD JPY, USD CAD, USD CHF getting weaker. For the stronger markets, you'll notice everything with USD at the back end of it, AUD USD, Euro USD, Great Britain Pound USD, all of those markets are getting stronger, and that all has to do with that economic report traded this morning. Now, I don't necessarily trade off of the news. What I do trade off of is being aware of what time the news is, because if you know that these news events are going to come out, there is potential for these massive outside days, you know, like where you're able to really take advantage. I'm green across the board here. This is one of my better days trading. Not every day is a winner, but you know, as long as you can outweigh the winners and the losers, that is super important. So let's move into the trade setups next here and talk about some charts. These are the charts I use. These charts are part of my Nadex Master Course. And then I want to talk about a couple of trades. One of the trades I have on is a breakout above it's the 14.99 strike. So let's take a look at where the 14.99 strike would be on this chart. It's right here, 14.99. As we were trading up towards these highs, we had held the previous day's low. The last 2 days we had spent really with movement higher. So I figured with that CPI report, we could get above these highs. So I did end up going long that 14.99 contract. And I always like to give myself, I'm not a huge fan of the hourlies. I'm a bigger fan of the end of the days. It gives me a little more wiggle room as far as time management on the trade. So that was one of my trades here. One of my other trades was with the S&P. Now the S&P, I was looking at I currently have the 26.79 strike, the 26.79 strike, and that was this high. When we came back down and held this consolidation area, I decided to go along those 26.79 strikes because I figured, okay, if we get back those highs, we're probably going to break out. You know, we're due for a breakout, and I don't have any resistance to 27.03. And you can see as soon as we got above that 26.79, we were straight up for 14 points. So nice clean move there. My next trade here was in gold, which really was the biggest move. Look at this freaking move in gold. This is insane. My goodness, off the lows, we are 30, actually, no, more than that, almost. I'm doing some math in my head here. About 27, 28 points off of the lows. Absolute reversal. CPI came out, and this is why I love Nadex Binary Options, because, you know, any futures trader in here probably had their stop hit, versus if you're a binary options trader, you can sit through this turmoil and then we rip back above those highs. We take out those highs. My strike, I believe, was 13.38. Let me actually take a look here real quick. It's just about to expire, actually, at 1:30, so 4 more minutes. My silver contract just expired, so I won that one. But 13.38 by 1:30. So all I was looking is, once again, I'm looking for the highs to be taken out in this kind of move. That's where I like to go for some of my targets if I think there's a bigger move coming. And the reason I thought there was a bigger move coming is, once again, from that CPI move. And then one more trade I have here is the USD CAD. So I will pull up the USD CAD here. You know, just as a reminder, as I was talking about, everything dollar affected, this USD CAD has been basing here really nicely, putting a bunch of lows, you know, low, 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 and it was really holding. And I was talking about it in my trade room this morning. I said, you know, if we get below the day's low coming out of this high, we're gonna start breaking down. And that was a trade I had mentioned in my trade room, and I decided to get short the 25.40 strike. That's probably the one that I'm gonna have to manage the most. I was able to pay, I sold them for 67.5, which made my cost basis roughly 32.5. So it's paid about 32.5, and I'll make $100 a contract. So I was able to get in that contract for less than $1,000, and my full profit will be $2,000 payout if we can stay below that by 2 p.m. Chicago time. So that was a trade I took. Big move down here in the USD CAD. I don't think these trends are over. I do think you're going to want to pay attention to these markets going forward. This is typically when you get these outside moves where you have these big days like across the board. They continue. They're not, you know, they're not over. The volatility has been great in this market, and really, guys, I teach all of this stuff super in depth. The setups I'm using in my Nadex Master Course. A lot of people trade Nadex, they fund an account, and then they realize they don't know anything. So, you know, outside of just really encouraging you to just take my course, you know, I do these videos for free all of the time. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Major League Trading, see what I'm doing. Follow me on Twitter. It's @JackGleason. But if you're serious about trading and you want to take your trading to the next level, and you're tired of being wrong, and you're tired of really just being confused about trading in general, take the leap of faith, guys. This is why I built my Nadex Master Course, and I'm going to leave a link below to sign up. So take advantage of it, and I'll see you guys in the course and in my trade room. Take care.